us about underwater acoustics is Professor Gary Heald. Hi Gary, what made you choose underwater acoustics and sonar as your field of research?
I grew up in Weymouth in Dorset, which is quite near to Portland, which is where the Admiralty Underwater Weapons Establishment was situated at the time. My father was actually in the atomic energy establishments, but at the age of 13, I discovered amateur radio, which of course is all about radio waves. But I got heavily into sort of interest in waves and the electronics of both radar and radio and things like that. I went on to do a degree in applied maths, actually. AUWE being local, I found myself working with a number of the companies who supported the Ministry of Defence back then. And so I was doing a lot of electronics in the first part of my career, but I got very interested in sort of underwater propagation, scattering, target scattering as well, obviously, for obvious reasons. So that was really the evolution. And to be honest, I happened to date Dennis Stansfield's daughter, a well-known transducer expert at AUWE, and he sort of encouraged me as well. And then in 1993, I was working on site for the Ministry of Defence, and they basically said, have you ever thought about joining? Which is when I joined what was DRA then, and then DERA, and then subsequently DSDL.
What's been your most exciting discovery so far?
Okay, I've mentioned the MOD a number of times already, so as you might imagine, there are quite a few things that I've discovered that I can't talk about in this forum because they're at secret. I mean, until I partially retired from the MOD recently, I was running things like the Sonar Modelling Handbook, which of course is allowing our sonars to measure their own performance and to assess how they might achieve detections in given environments. I'm probably best known for the topic that I did my PhD on and then got the A.B. Wood Medal for, and I've carried on doing research in this, and that's for sediment classification. So it's converting the acoustic scattering from the seabed to say what is there in there that you can actually pull out to say that this is sand, this is mud, this is rock. And I actually set a facility up at Bath University, which is still there to this day and being used, which has got 4 different sediment trays. So that's got cobble, gravel, sand, and then a sort of muddy silt at one end. And I'm aware that one of the French PhD students, Irene Moppin, has been there recently using that. But I've always had an interest in inverting acoustic signals. So my last PhD student at Heriot-Watt University, she was doing something similar, but with materials. So we used dolphin chirp signals or something similar to dolphin chirp signals. And we were able to tell the difference between a sphere made of copper, of aluminium, of stainless steel and of brass, and then filled it with different things like air, water, sand, and oil, and we could tell what the material was. In fact, there's an IET paper out there that came out on that a couple of years ago. So that's the inversion of acoustic sounds is probably the thing that I'm best known for.
Thank you, Gary.